So, Marty, I heard back in the day when you guys did Toy Fair, you guys did like crazy Toy Fair parties. And I'd like to hear about some of those things. I know you've probably met all sorts of celebrities that you've done these toys with too, like Muhammad Ali. I don't know if you've ever done anything with like Shatner or the Star Trek folks. Can you tell us any stories about, the Toy Fair parties I've heard about?
Interesting enough, we were a little company trying to make a big splash in an industry that was, pretty much mature at that time in terms of major companies controlling a major portion of the business. So when a new company wanted to come in, they had to turn around and get the attention not only of the consumer but as well as the retail buyer. And in those days, you got today 10, 12 giant retailers that control the business. In those days, it was much more fractured. It was 60, 80, 100 companies. Getting all of that attention was at best difficult, at worst impossible. So when we first introduced our very first introduction with a brand we called Action Jackson, it was our first foray into the what we call the TV marketing side. We had a big party at the Friars Club with Milton Berle, and Milton Berle was Mr. Television. And no matter what, where, and how, and why at that time, we wanted to make a presentation to it was for the retailers to come. We knew if we had a celebrity like him, and he was there, everybody would show up just to see him meet and greet Milton Berle, and that's exactly what happens. It was our very, very first venture. Having said that, and having the success of that with all the retailers, when we introduced Sonny Cher to the toy industry, that became a different story. This wasn't a Friars Club presentation. This was the grand ballroom of the Waldorf Astoria. And we had Sonny and Cher literally perform for the toy industry. And well, they don't do that now because at the end of the day, again, who are we doing this for? We're doing these parties for the toy industry, the retailer. Not for the consumer, because the consumer's not going to touch and feel it. And so every single buyer wants to come in and see who Sonny and Cher were. And we were just starting to emerge into a new area, which was the celebrity stuff, because we did Muhammad Ali as well. We did Diana Ross. We did Captain and Tennille. We did Farrah Fawcett. So we were just emerging into that part of the business. And the only way to effectively do that was to throw a party and make it real happen. The following year, we acquired The Wizard of Oz. And we were lucky enough to have everybody that was alive at that time, Jack Haley, Mervyn LeRoy, who was the director, Margaret Hamilton, who was the Wicked Witch, Ray Bolger, who was the Scarecrow. They all came, and they all came part of it. And that was part of American nostalgia in terms of what, where, how, and why. So when we started to do all these things, it became part of our marketing strategy to bring the industry together and to show them what effective that we were doing.
I wish Toy Fair today had like those kinds of celebrities coming because that would be insane. But
Well, it's there, but it's not a Toy Fair. It's a Comic-Con.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's at the Star Trek conventions. It's at the Star Wars conventions. You go around the country, and all of the celebrities show up. There are celebrity conventions of older celebrities that have been in major television shows in the 70s, 80s, and 90s who come to these conventions and sign autographs. So it's there, but it's in a different art form.
So on that same vein, we saw you guys debut at San Diego. We're talking about cons now. Are we going to see Mego show up at New York Comic Con maybe next month, or perhaps the next Star Trek event in Vegas?
We're not going to physically be at Comic Con in New York because we just never have time to get it up and everything going. We had the launch was San Diego, but going forward beyond that, we put together a plan for us to be virtually at every single Comic Con in the country next year. My plan is to be there, literally talk at all the panels that are at every place. I don't care if it's in Kansas City. I don't care if it's in Denver. Across the board, we know we have to reach out to our fans. We have to build up our fan base, and we want to. The only way to do it. It's almost like the Branson, Missouri concept. You got to get out there and press the flesh and meet the people, and that's what our plan is.